So hello, welcome to a new video again. I know we are making quite a few of them these days. I will slow down at some point, probably this will be the last in the next few days. But I wanted to make this one because I'm still experimenting, as you know, and I'm going to explain a little bit more what I'm going to do next and why I'm going to do it. So today's ride will be again through the city, and I don't feel too guilty about it because I think the video quality is getting better and better, and if you've already seen something similar you can always stop watching or you can watch and help me along. Let me first talk a little bit about the changes. So on this one we are going to do two new things, and I will also talk about what I'm going to do next. So one thing I tried, because some commenter suggested this, I try to change the color of the line in the helicopter view, and also try to put a little icon there of me on a bicycle. I'm not sure how well this will work out, but we will see. So that's a small change. The second thing I'm going to do is I experimented with the camera which is now on my neck, which is DJI Action 4. It has like a magnetic sort of connection. And the nice thing about this connection is that you can clip it off. And yeah, I first tried to sort of walk around and see what would happen then. And you have seen the results. What I'm now going to do is take the camera off. And that works surprisingly well. And just show you around. So I can basically click it off my neck thingy. Then without putting my fingers into the picture, which is, let's say, work in progress. Show you around, then clip it back on and continue. And I will do this several times, starting here. So we'll get off the bike, and you might notice that you can see clearly when I'm walking. But I will also then can show you around, and I think that's a better compromise in many ways. So this is kind of interesting. I stopped here for a reason. If you're watching videos before, you know that this is a tunnel. And in that tunnel over there, trucks are driving in the tunnel, then go into the corner in the subtunnel, so that they can deliver the goods in the morning to the shopping mall, which is over there. And yeah, I think that's quite cool, and I want to take a little bit of video of it for several reasons. One of them because pretty soon they are going to close this all up, including all the spray painting. And it will be buried for the next few hundred years, I guess, until somebody finds it. But that's the way they're being supplied them. This is also quite interesting. You see, just by luck, that a police car is driving by. And they can use the bus lanes, of course. And that means that they can go quite fast. Which is sometimes a question how that's done in the Netherlands. When you're closing up roads and cars are not allowed in certain places. Well, here's a good example what that means for things like police cars and fire trucks. They also kind of are allowed to use, if needed, the bicycle paths. So you can imagine that if a crossing is quite busy, that they can actually use the bicycle path slowly, of course, or semi-slowly, to have, say, a fire truck go over it. So you can see I'm now clicking it back onto my my chest and wiggling it around a little bit, and then get back on the bike. And I think this is working surprisingly well. That does mean that it takes another 5 or 10 seconds of me checking if the camera is really well attached before I get cycling again. I will do this quite often in this video, but imagine in a normal bicycle video, which is like half an hour or an hour, I might only get off 2 or 3 times. But since I was experimenting and trying to see if it works, I did it more times. So yeah, tell me what you think about it, because I think it's better than looking left and looking right concept I had before. I think if it's nice enough to show you something, I should just stop and show you to you. So again, tell me what you think in the comments. So another thing I'm going to do is I'm going to play around with subtitles, and I've already been sneakily preparing this, but in the next few days I will start building some software. I am a software designer by design, to see if I can get it to work. And the idea is that I'm going to use some of the languages that are not in use, not to put subtitles in there, but to put more information in there. And first I'll show you this, and then I will talk about it a little bit more when we finish over the birds, I guess. So again, I'm getting off, and I like, this is quite fun. So you see a farm which was always here, and they decided to leave it there, and normally you can't see it on the biking videos, but now you can clearly see, because I can take the camera off, which I already done. I can tell you that I'm already hand holding it, so that's going quite smooth, otherwise I could not show you this angle. I will at some point also bike down there, but you can see it's quite nice, nicely done. And I will also later show you a picture when the bridge, which we are going to go over, was placed in basically right in front of us near the water. So not here, but if I move back, so over there, the bridge was built, and they basically rolled it into the between the other two bridges. And I will show you pictures of that, because they had to basically put the bridge, because it was so big, over this farm. And you can see that in one of the pictures that I made from the red building, which is the theater. Maybe I will still put it in the picture. No, I'm driving, but we have seen it before. So we'll slowly follow the running guy. So basically on our right, so let's say at 2 o'clock, the bridge was built over there. Then they moved it over this area, in between the other two bridges. And we are talking about the grey bridge, which is in the middle. So the yellow bridge was also built here, but it was like 10 years earlier. So the one in the middle was placed in 2017. So the pictures I'm going to show you will also be from 2017. So here's the first one. So you can see that the bridge is being built next to the water. So they bring in the parts from the water, then they build it over here. And then they placed it, and you can see that they rolled it basically slowly but surely. It took like half a day or a day. And then I took this picture, which I really like. And you can see that the bridge is hanging over the farm on these small little rolling cars. And yeah, then they placed it in between. And it's doubled also the train tracks, which is good, because otherwise it was trouble. Then they didn't have a backup. Now they both have more capacity, and yeah, they are able to have more trains coming in and coming out from this side of the city. Again, a very nice day for the biking. It's still kind of cold, like 8 degrees or something. So. But in general, quite nice. So about the subtitles. So the idea is that I know that several other bicycle videos provide you with information like the speed and the direction that they are going, and sometimes even things like where they are. Like we are doing with Google Earth information at the top. But with most of these action cams, you need to do that by downloading an app on your phone, and then you do the video editing on your phone, and then it overlays some, let's say, more sporty information. So how quick you are going and how steep the hill is and stuff like that. The problem with that for me is that the video quality I'm doing, which is 4K 60p, so quite high quality, and also really big files. This file is probably about 60 or 70 gigabytes. That really does not work in this phone, let's say, overlaying information applications. It just would crash all the time. So, and it would take a long time. So, what I'm going to try to do is write some software that can put information into subtitles that we can display, and you can turn them on and turn them off. And for the smart people, there's a language called Bobo, and in one of the videos in the last few days I already did a small test to see if YouTube would allow it, because normally of course you need to put subtitles in there, and I was wondering what would happen if you put other information there. Now, why is that interesting? So the first thing I'm going to try is to put in one of the languages where we are. So things like the street name and the postal code, and maybe also the satellite position. So what would be nice about that is, you know what street we are on, which is nice, but if I can put the postal code there, you can actually go into Google Maps quite quickly by typing in the postal code, and you can see where we are. And so if I say, for example, this building, which is called Jaffa, and Stork was a big old industrial complex where they did metalworks, then you can actually fill in the postal code and you can get the position in Google Maps or Street View or other applications. Probably also you can quite quickly find some wiki information. So this kind of stuff that I want to put in the subtitles. Another subtitle track, a different language, might for example hold the speed, or how long we have been riding, or stuff like that. That's what I'm going to try to do in the next few days. And for you guys, that means that if you want to, you can turn this language on, but you don't have to. I will of course put it in languages which are not in use a lot, so that if you put it on English or you put it on Dutch or Spanish, that you still have the option to automatically translate into that language, if Google can understand me. But the few of the other languages, which of course I will then explain, will hold this information that can track you. And I think if it works, it's a really nice solution, because you can change the font size yourself and the position on the screen, depending on if you use it on your phone or on a laptop. You can kind of fiddle around with it, but you can also turn it on and turn it off. So if you're interested in what street I'm in, you can turn it on. Or if you're more interested in, let's say, not saying that I can do this, but let's assume that maybe I can put some wiki information in there of the current position, you might turn that track of subtitle on. I hope this makes some sense. Otherwise, when I succeed, you can try it and you will see what I was talking about. Again, as an Easter egg, I already put in one of the videos of a few days ago. Mostly to test if YouTube would detect it and say, hey, you're not really doing subtitles, you're doing something totally different, and we are giving you a warning. So far I've not seen a warning, so I'm assuming this is kind of okay. And I thought that might be a nice solution. I also have other plans when I'm successful with writing this software, and then I will probably also give it away for other people to use. But I can't talk about it yet, because it has more to do with things that I still need to test if it actually can work. And for me the whole goal is to, and I think that's the underlying thing also about stopping and telling you stuff. So for example, I could have talked about this building, which is the mosque in Utrecht, I think that's where I'm going with this. I think more and more I will prepare on my normal trips. So let's say they start in April or something, or March, when the weather gets nice. I will prepare myself better on the stops and provide you with more information and a little bit of storytelling. So again, let me know in the comments if you think that's a good idea. So next what we are going to do in our stop is go to the central station, and we have visited the backside of the central station. The one I put online yesterday showed you early in the morning the 12,500 underground bicycle parking, and that's the other side of the central station. So I now wanted to show you the front of the central station. So we're going to do a stop there and look around again for about a minute and then move on. So my plan is, in let's say the real videos, the longer videos out of the city, we might stop 3 or 4 times and just show you around for a minute or so. So it will still be, in my opinion, a bicycle video, but it will just give you a small taste of looking around, which normally is not possible because you will be cycling and you will get a very limited view. I tried the 3D camera before. That kind of was also too difficult to make, and the video quality was not good enough. So again, I'm getting off the bike, and as you can see, it's quite easy to take the camera into my hands. I'm now walking next to the bike. I didn't take the camera off yet, but I will stop in a few minutes and a few seconds. They put their bikes everywhere. So I think I stop over here, take the camera off the mount, I click it off, and then you hardly see it, which is quite impressive. So I'm now clicking it off, and I now have it in my hand, and I can show you around. So you can see they're doing more buildings over there. There are going to be quite a few high-rise buildings. And there used to be also quite a busy road called the Laan. And you can see that was one of the few high buildings, which was a Holiday Inn. And you can see the trams coming in. And some new buildings, World Trade Center building. And the white building beyond that is the municipality building. And here is again one of the entrances to the bicycle, 12,500 bicycle underground. So you can also get in here and go to your bike. You see, not right now, but there's a guy already walking his bike in. And the stairs up are also leading to a platform. And the platform is how you enter the station. So now you see that I still sometimes put my fingers in places where they're not supposed to be. But if you go up the stairs, and there's also escalators, you get on the first floor, which has a big outside area, so on top of there. And I will also show you some pictures I took a few years ago when they are using, when they are doing something fun, like a party. They will put some extra lights there, and that looks quite nice, so I took some pictures. I will show you in a few seconds when we are waiting on the other side of this road. This is all quite new. They changed it, and they will change it a few times more, because where you now see the bicycles in front of us, that used to be quite a busy road, but slowly they are taking it back and putting more buildings here. You can see they are still building here, so that's why I decided before we go to the other side to show you some pictures of the central station we just left behind. So you can see on the top floor where you can walk, they put pictures like this, and sometimes they do put some nice light shows there. And I took them a few years ago. I hope they do it more. It was quite fun. So this is the kind of like an umbrella. It's very high, and I was worried it would fly away when it's windy. And here you can see the part of the train station from the other side. You can kind of get a feeling how it looks. Again, if you want to see the pictures longer, of course, you can just pause and go back. Yes, I'm going against the traffic here, which I'm not sure how else to get there in a safe way. So we are going to the next stop. And the next stop is a place where we have been before. Again, this is also quite a famous bicycle. Oh, forgot about it. All the seagulls. There were quite a few sitting on the roof. For some reason, they decided to all fly off. So we're going to visit the Star, which is the windmill you see here, which was a wood windmill. There were 3 in the old days, so 3 of them. There's only 1 left, and you still see a few of the buildings, like this home. This was from the miller. And when I was a kid in the 70s, the wood shops were still there, still active, and it was actually kind of a dump sort of area. When we go in, it I wouldn't say dumb, but it was not child friendly. So as a kid we would hang around there for sure, but it was not meant for that. So we're going over this little bridge. Of course, also in the Netherlands, they are closing postal offices. So there used to be a post office in this building. So you can see we are in the middle of the city. We are basically 4 or 5 minutes walk from the central station, and you can see that they created. There's a school here, and there's a park, and there's some activities for kids. You're still allowed to use your bicycle here. Of course, I'm a little bit careful with the camera. I don't want to take kids into a view for more than 1 or 2 seconds max. So sometimes I make a weird movement for that. Here I get off the bike because I don't want a bicycle in. And again, I'm walking and then taking the camera on and making a few quick shots. Again, don't want to stay too long because I don't want to... I just want to give you a feeling, and I also don't want to get into trouble when I'm filming or take pictures of kids, stuff like that. It's kind of fun because they put like a small wheel track over there with carts. And here's a petting zoo, as you can see, for kids. Well, not yet. When I take the camera off. So when I'm looking forward, I'm most of the time taking the camera off. Now I took the camera off. And you can see there's a petting zoo here. And there's other activities near the water. Again, I'm not walking there, but in the old place where they store the woods. And as demos, they still show you the woods. These are a few of the buildings that were there to support the windmill. And there's the windmill. And they used to use the waterway to get the wood in and the wood out when the mill was working. A fun story, which you can read on the wiki, is that, well, fun. During the Second World War, the Germans actually took over the windmill and the area, and they guarded it. But during the razzias, which I'm not sure why I say this is a fun topic, but during the razzias, actually it turned out that many people were hiding into the different storage areas in between the wooden planks and stuff like that. So I would almost say under the noses of the Germans, they kept themselves safe. But you can see it's and in the 70s we decided not to build homes here, and they created protected area. So as a result, you can see that now in the middle of the city there is quite a nice area. And again, let me stress, this is quite in the middle of the city. So if you're into Utrecht, it might be a nice place to just hang out a bit with the kids. Again, it's about 5-minute walk from the central station, and you notice how quickly I was here with the bicycle. Going over, no, I'm not going over the bridge, I'm going to the left. Normally I ride on the other side. You can see, of course, bicycles everywhere. Well, not everywhere, in this case, mostly on that side. But so we are going to stop at the next one, which I will film again during summertime. Because that's a favorite hangout for when the weather gets nice, and when it gets really nice. They're actually working on the roof there of the floating home. So at this bridge and also at this bigger bridge, which we'll quite soon see, there's quite a lot of people in the summer hanging out and sunbathing, swimming, and just in general having a drink and sitting outside. So I'll also show you 1 or 2 pictures. And that's building we will see it in the picture better. It's called the Munt, and they are renovating it. And it was used to be the place where you can see it in the helicopter view a bit better. It's quite big, and they used to make all the coins. So the Dutch and the Euro coins for the Netherlands were made in that building. I was trying to figure out what was on the sign, and maybe you can read it if you pause it. I didn't try yet. So that building, we will cycle next to it again, but they are now renovating it. But you can see this is quite a nice place. Of course, it's quite cold, so there's no people here. But yeah, in summertime, this is one of the hangouts in the city. People are swimming and jumping and off the bridge, and not supposed to, but they do it anyway. And of course, taking the different refreshments. I hear the videos do better if there are cats in the video, so I figured let's aim it to the cat. So that bridge, the Munt Bridge, is not used for cars anymore. Maybe when I was really young it was still being used for cars. Not sure. But they couldn't handle it. It was getting damaged too much, so now it's only for bicycles and for people walking. I still have to get used to how long I film here. Yeah, somebody wanted to sit near the water. He looked a bit iffy to me, so not that I was scared. That's is not what I wanted to say, but I do want to keep an eye on my stuff. I'm always very protective of my gear. Especially because sometimes I have not that much gear with me. Sometimes I have, let's say, a lot of gear with me. Expensive gear. So going over the second bridge, and I will show you a nice picture I took a few years ago from the other side of the water. So here you can see the two little bridges we just passed, and the Munt building when it's summertime, and how it will look then. And here's a picture just to show you if the sun is nice and the weather is nice, that this is a place where people hang out. In this case was only one little boat, but still it's not too bad for in the middle of the city. And in the helicopter view you can see the different floating boats again. And this area, you can see it in the helicopter view, is kind of like this because of our next attraction, which is a Soja factory, which was there until I think it was the 1970s. Sorry, I'm mistaken. I think it stopped it in the 2000s, beginning of 2000s. But there used to be a factory there. Oh, first we're going to look around in this area. I'm not sure why this bend is there, so I figured let's get off and show you around a bit. So you can see quite easily the big building towers where the central station is located. We're still quite close, about 3 minutes bike ride. The different floating homes. And people, of course, biking around. In that case, it's an electric rental bike. I'm guessing that the battery was gone because he looked that he was putting in way more effort than you normally see. Also notice how quiet the city is in general, until some girls sneaked up on me and started doing the girl yelly thing. To each other, not to me. So getting on the bike again. I heard them coming, so I was waiting a little bit before I got going, because otherwise... I would hear the squeaking noise for a minute. So the buildings to your left and also the tower thingy and these smaller buildings were part of the Soja factory, and also the thing near the water, the tower, was part of how they fill the ships, and that's why also the canals were doubled here. So ships could come in and go out from the factory. And the Soja factory, I just learned it because I looked at the wiki. I know it was always, when I was a kid, it was a nice place to hang out and do your Gen X 1970s, 1980s roaming around the city stuff. But it was also always very smelly over here. And that had to do with the soya beans. And I now learned that after the firework disaster in Enschede, which was a big explosion, they were quite scared that the dust, which are also part of the process that they were doing here. So dust can explode. I'm not sure if you know this, but if you take like powdered milk, for example, and you put a fire under it, and when you are shaking it out of a little bag, you'll see that it burns quite heavily. And they always, one of the most dangerous sort of explosions you can have is a dust explosion. And they were quite scared in this building that there will be dust explosions. So that's one of the reasons they closed it. So now there's a school in here. There are several eating and drinking places in here. The other tower, which was kind of rebuilt in the same design of something which was there, is now a living tower. And they left one of the crane systems there for, just to show you what it was. And on the helicopter view, which will also make it bigger if I don't forget it, you can see the different sluice elements so that the ships could come in and go out to load and to unload. So that's why there's also this kind of funky structure over the canal, so that you could still ride with the car over it to the other side. Now also cars are not allowed there anymore. Just bicycles and pedestrians. Now we are going to the next attraction. There's a little park here. Maybe at some point I will show you. You can see that in the helicopter view again. So tell me what you think about this storytelling. Not that my stories are great in this example video, but tell me if you like the concept. So the next attraction we're going to spend again a little bit more time, because it's such a well-known one. It's the bicycle bridge, which goes on top of a school and then turns into a bicycle bridge. And I will show you some pictures, and I also get off the bike and show you around a bit, because normally, and since this is on, I would say that my default route, I forgot to put the pictures in, so I will put the pictures in, but only when I'm done editing. So I have to guess when I'm going to put them in, but I promise I will put them in probably when we get over the bridge. There's some time where I can show them to you. But we are approaching that crossing, which they just redid, this road, and this is kind of weird because you have to bike on the right side, the left side of the cars, which is not normal, but I guess it was different before, and they changed it a few months ago. You can see this quite often, that you see two places for your bike to stop, because if that part is filled, then you stop on this side, so that you don't block all the others. In this case, I did see him, but you have to be careful that you don't run into somebody else. There we see a fat bike. You can also hear them. I don't like fat bikes for several reasons, but one of the more practical things is they make quite a lot of tire noise, which I don't like. They're better than mopeds. So normally I would go over the bridge, but in this case I'm going in front of the school. Again, the bridge goes over the roof of the school and then turns into a bridge. I don't look around a lot because there are kids, and again I don't want to take them into the picture in a serious way, so that's why I'm careful. But you can see on the helicopter view that there's a play area in the circle, and then the entrance to the school, and you can see on the other side, there's also buildings of the school. Again, it takes me a few seconds to get a camera off, and then I can show you around. Of course, then I can also see the back of the camera because it's a small action cam. So the moment, one of the reasons for me to taking it off is that I can physically see when I'm recording what's in the picture. So I can, for example, follow a bike, which I'm going to do now. Well, I didn't, but you get the idea. So you see the stairs, you can go up if you want to walk over the bridge. Maybe I'm following him or her, at least showing them. Again, sometimes I still put my finger in front of the camera. It's a very wide lens, so I have to get used not to do that. Partly I'm keeping the camera away from kids which were walking on the other side. So I now decide to turn back, and we're going to bicycle around the school before we go over the roof to the other side. Which again is different when I was showing this before, because normally I would just ride with the camera over the bridge and be done with it. So this is kind of a new way I want to approach it. So you can see that the school is all the way also in the ramp part. And I will show some pictures of how the school is connected to the bridge. And you can see it already kind of here. Again, bicycles. I've never seen this before in other places. They kind of put small white paint, but they are a little bit of higher up. And it's clearly to slow down the cars, but it's an interesting way that they do it. It's sort of a new style of cobblestones. Again, I will carefully biking, and now in fact go a little bit faster because I don't want to film the kids too much. And I'm trying to find my way back to the ramp up the school. And now, first time I'm watching it back, I think there was a dog sitting here, but I'm not sure where the owner was. I noticed it too late, but you see there's a dog here. I'm assuming that it's her dog, I hope, because I didn't see anybody else. See, I kind of stopped to look around to guess if the dog was okay. We don't have any stray dogs in the Netherlands. That would be very strange. So that's why if you see a dog sort of, which seems to be all by itself, you could kind of go like, what's happening here? Of course, cats can be on the street. We saw one before. But dogs you would normally not see in Dutch cities on the street. We are a dog-loving country. See, there's at least a dog on a leash. So now you can see what happens if you circle up the ramp. And this part, of course, below it is no school building yet, but you saw on the other up ramp that quite quickly the lower parts are being used as part of the school. So basically we are now going over the entrance, and now we are already riding on top of a classroom. And there are several classes below this, and then you see the building with the solar cells in the helicopter view. And then it turns into the D.Schippers bridge, which we talked about before. You see 100 meters here, and in 100 meters you see the finish line, because he was a 100-meter runner. She still is. I think she won 2 Olympic medals, but could be wrong. World medals, something like that. So the canal is quite wide. It's between 100 and 150 meters, depending on where it is. It's also, and I didn't believe it, so I checked it, but it turns out, at least if we believe Wikipedia, to be the busiest canal in the world. You would expect that some of the other canals would be way busier, but it's used a lot to bring stuff from Amsterdam and in between areas to Germany. So here I will probably put the pictures in before we at the finish of this one, because I forgot to put in the last 5 pictures. So while we are riding here, which is on top of the or next to kind of the highway, and I'm going to stop at the end, and I also have pictures from that, so I should know. Yeah, I won't show pictures, but I will show you the lookout building at the end of this road, which is on top of integrated into the highway. So the highway is basically below us. That's why you see the greenery and the road that you see there. They are kind of on top of it, and no normal buildings are there, because they might have to get into the tunnel at some point. They hope not, I guess. And also for the weight, of course, they don't want to put lots of buildings on top. But there's, I think, a 10-lane total. If you also take the other smaller tunnel, I think it's 10 lanes total below ground. Of course, when they put it in there, I was already living here. Normally you would kind of hear the car sound, even if my home is quite far away, or at least a few 100 meters away. You would still hear it, and now you don't hear it anymore. And they did it so the two parts of the city would feel more connected, and you can easily get to one part to the other part, and there's no like a massive highway in between. So quickly showing you the pictures of the D.Schippers bridge and the school, because I kept talking. And as you can see in the different pictures how the school, there's some more details of how the school looks, and also one night picture. Now I hope I didn't forget to put them in, because otherwise this sounds stupid. So in front of us we see this weird looking pyramid shaped kind of building, which is actually a watchtower. So it's a control center for the road which is below it. And next to it, you can also see it on the helicopter view, you see a second tunnel, which is much smaller, a city tunnel, that actually enters or has the entrance to the truck tube in there. So if you combine these roads, there are, I think, like 10 lanes or something. So I will stop here again. And yes, we hear a car sort of doing something weird, but it was not hinting at me, it was hinting at another car. I was standing here quite safely. But you can see the different areas that we have biked, but you can also see quite clearly where you can imagine where the road is. The good news, they made a fresco, you can see that over there. On the building on this side you can see where the road is at and how the different buildings are laid out. I will walk to it. Again, I think I'm doing pretty good with not putting my fingers in front of the lens, but not perfect yet. I guess I will learn. In this case, I'm not sure. I guess it's my pinky sort of. But you can see the road, they kind of made a drawing of it. You can see the canal and how the road is below here. I think at some point I will ask if I can look inside. I'm not sure if they allow it because I've never seen somebody really go in or out of the building. But I think it's the area where air can come in. I think if there's something wrong, like a fire, they can use it for people to escape and stuff like that. And as far as I know, there's the controllers are also there to keep an eye on the tunnel. Again, that honking was not for me. The one car was somewhat upset with another car. So I don't think that the garbage can is interesting. I was probably just putting on the bike the camera again. If you lock it into this magnet, you also have to sort of wiggle a little bit, which you don't see, which I'm kind of impressed with, to make sure that it's locked in. Because otherwise, if I take it off 10 times during a trip, I have to make sure that I don't drop it when I'm bicycling if I don't attach it correctly. So one thing I'm probably going to do is put a small extra line on it that I can put around my linear that I can put around my neck as sort of a second way to secure the camera that I don't lose it. And here you can see this is what I meant with the other tunnel. So this thing on our right is basically the entrance to the tunnel. And I'm not sure how well that is on the camera, but I try to sort of look down to it. And if you remember at the beginning of the video, our first stop, when I was talking about the entrance for the trucks, that's actually in this. So the trucks can go into this one from the other side. In the middle there's a special lane for them. And below ground they can go to the left and they can drive below ground to the shopping mall. There they can take their goods out and there's a circle so they can loop around and drive back out, then go into the tunnel again and ride out. And maybe we can still see the tunnel here. Or not? No, I don't think we will turn around enough for you to see it in the helicopter view. But you've seen it in the beginning of the video. At some point I will try, I know that there's a video on YouTube about this, but it's very difficult to find. I'm not sure why they are doing it, but I will try to figure out if I can get more information about this building and how they constructed the whole tunnel, because I think it's kind of a cool idea that the shopping mall, which you can see basically was not yet finished, but it's on the right of us. How they supply that shopping area. And now we are nearing the end of today's trip. Again, I know that I've made a video in this area before, and we drive a lot into this area. But again, as a test, I wanted to see if the stopping and starting would work. I'm also going to use this video to over the next few days try to put stuff into the subtitles as a test before I make a video where we are really using it. So maybe in the comments I will put it down that yes, they are now in. One of the reasons I want to use this video is that it's not that important of video. That means that if YouTube decides to yell at me and remove it, that I'm not allowed to do that, it will not be that harmful. So thank you for watching. Please leave comments. Oh, I think I stopped at this one. This is quite funny. So we are not leaving because this kid was driving quite quickly. And he's not that old, so you can see there. And I first figured that was the mother trying to catch it. But actually, and I make a few comments, I'm not sure if you can hear it to her. She's coming up to our left, so the kid is already quite far away. There she is, with dog, trying to catch the kid. I already said something to it, but you can't hear it. And she's trying to catch the little kid on the bike. I confirmed that it was actually the mother. So thank you. Bye bye.